quote the great Borat, great success or major success. All I know is that it is a really good thing that the Miami Heat got Josh Christopher on a two-way contract. And on today's show, I want to talk more in depth about Josh Christopher, what it means for the long-term outlook of the Miami Heat, and potentially another move that could be following the Josh Christopher signing. And I am very happy that he ended up getting a two-way contract. When you ball out the way that he did during Miami Heat Summer League, I mean, how could you not earn a two-way contract, averaging close to 20 points per game and shooting lights out from beyond the three? He was utterly terrific, and we're going to talk more about him in just a second. But make sure you are following me over on Twitter because, well, when the Heat made that official yesterday afternoon, I tweeted about it before I came on the channel and broke it down with a video. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest Heat news and rumors and even see some highlights, my Twitter is the best place to do it. At Nic_Rohloff is my handle. All right, here is what Josh Christopher did at Summer League. I kind of alluded to it just a second ago. Yeah, he did average 19 points a game and shot more than 50% from the field and the three-point arc. He was someone who can just get hot in a hurry, right? And that was like maybe the most impressive thing to me is that he could be having a mediocre game, going through the motions, and then all of a sudden you just watch him and it's just like, holy crap, this dude's going absolutely nuclear, and he was unbelievable for the Heat Summer League team this past summer, and I want to get to know Jay Gupp a little bit more. He was a first-round pick in 2021, 24th overall. He was a rocket for 2 seasons, 21-22, 22-23, but then spent all of his time in the G League for the 23-24 season, splitting between the Utah G League team, and then he latched on with Miami late in his year, and he's got a great athletic profile at 6'4", height and 6'9" wingspan with a lot of speed, a lot of explosiveness, and a lot of athleticism. We saw him get out in transition quite a bit for Summer League, get to the rack and finish. Him and Alondes Williams were just absolutely attacking and putting pressure on the rim, which was impressive. Now, they both took some bad shots while driving to the rim, but at least when you think of Josh Christopher, it's someone who's got great height to wingspan ratio, plus speed, plus explosiveness, plus bunnies. It is something that makes me a lot of excited, I guess I should say, for Christopher, because if he's able to hone in on his skills and become an elite three-point shooter, you pair that with his athleticism, and now we're talking real business. We're going to have more discussion here on Josh Christopher, but first, grade the move in totality. Now, this is also accounting for the waiving of Zyon Pullin. Now, you could be disappointed that you waived Zyon Pullin, so you lower the grade a little bit, but to add Josh Christopher to a two-way deal, waive Zyon Pullin, grade it A, B, C, D, or F. Let's look at what Christopher has done in his career. I mentioned that he was a Rocket for 2 seasons. Well, in those 2 years, this is what he did as a Rocket. In his rookie year, averaged 8 points a game, nothing really crazy, 45% from the field, a disgusting 29.6% from 3. And then in year 2, everything got worse. It literally went down in every single category. Missed 10 more games. Averaged 2 less points, 1 less rebound, 1 less assist. Shot a little bit better from the field, but then shot 6% worse from beyond the arc. Like, it is utterly shocking to realize how bad of a three-point shooter he was for the Houston Rockets. And I think that might be the most interesting thing and to watch his development as an overall player. Like, his big struggle, and the reason why he couldn't make it for the Houston Rockets, is because he could simply not shoot the ball, and he wasn't that good of a playmaker or ball handler, so it's like, well, if you can't do that as a guard, what are you going to bring me? But now, after watching him in Heat Summer League, the three-point shooting is what's potentially going to let him make this roster and what earned him a two-way contract. Now, who knows if he's going to be able to shoot that well from 3 against NBA players, because it is a different story, different defense, and we've seen that story with Cole Swider, who shoots 48% from 3 in the G League, but every time he gets a call up to the Major League team, he shoots 27%. So hopefully Christopher is going to be able to transition that good Summer League three-point percentage to the NBA and shoot 38, 39% from 3, because if he can do that, then he does have a future in Miami. That really is it, though. Like, if he's not going to shoot the ball and he's going to shoot back to that low 30% mark from beyond the arc in the NBA, then he's going to have no chance to be on this Heat roster, because the only way I project him to be on this team is if he is a floor spacing two guard that can really shoot the ball, be an off-ball scorer, and defend a little bit. He's not going to be someone who's going to be on ball as a primary scorer or initiator, so he needs to have that off-ball role and shooting, and that's the only way he can be on this team, which we'll talk about in just a second. But first, I got to make sure I show some love to our sponsor on today's show. That is GameTime. We've told you all about them this week, but it's because they are very, very special, and it's the only ticketing app that I use when I go to events, whether it be a concert, comedy club, a sporting event. Like, I go to some Texas Rangers games down here. You could go to some Marlins games, or you could just start getting prepared for the upcoming season, whether it be the Miami Dolphins or Miami Heat. Dolphins preseason getting underway in the next couple of weeks here. Season's just a month away. The reason why I love GameTime, multiple reasons, actually. It can't really put it on one. My favorite, first of all, is the fact that I can see my seat when I'm scrolling on the app. It's just the best part, so I know what I'm actually going to see when I'm sitting in my seat at the venue. Number two, all-in pricing. That is terrific for me. I'm not getting blindsided by fees when I go to checkout. No, I actually know how much I'm paying when I'm scrolling and look at the ticket prices there. They also have the lowest price guaranteed, or GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Yeah, you heard that correctly. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS to get that $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Let's transition here into what Christopher's long-term role with the Miami Heat could be. And I think it could be a potential replacement for Duncan Robinson. And I know you might think that's a little aggressive here, but when we think of what Duncan's contract is, he is going to be on this roster for this upcoming season. He's getting paid $19.4 million fully guaranteed. But the following year is where it comes to a little bit of an intriguing crossroads, if you say. Fork in the road. Good point, producer Cullen. He's got $19.8 million owed to him in 25-26, but there is an early termination option for the Heat, and there's only $9.8 guaranteed for Duncan. So if Miami wants to free up a roster spot, sure, they would still be on the hook for $9.8 million for Duncan Robinson, but they can save $10 million and not make that a fully guaranteed contract and waive him the following offseason. So to me, if you like the way Josh Christopher is progressing in the G League and he continues to show the ability to be an off-ball shooter and potentially play that Duncan Robinson role, then this could be Duncan Robinson's last year on the Heat. And it's not me trying to push D-Rob out of this Heat rotation. It's just the injury history that scares me. We know when Duncan's fully healthy, and he's right, he's one of the best players and shooters in the NBA. When you just look at his numbers, he lights it up from beyond the arc. We know that season where he went off, 2019-2020, he shot unbelievable, was in the three-point contest, then follows it up with a decent year in 2020-21, okay in 21-22. We know how bad it was in 22-23 when he was out of the rotation in favor of Max Strus, but then a resurgent year this past season where he shot 40% from three. The reason why I would be looking to find my next Duncan Robinson replacement is because that back injury scares me, man. It really, really does. It forced him to miss the playoffs. It forced him to miss the last stretch of the year. Not ideal. And whenever you talk back injuries, it's like the Ben Simmons stuff, right? Like, who knows if it's ever going to fully heal, and just like one weird movement, one weird awkward fall could end your season. And it's something that I am really concerned about, and I think that's why the Heat also signed Alec Burks, is to give them some insurance if Duncan Robinson goes down, to know you have a veteran guy who can be that three-point shooter off the bench. But Christopher, who is still really young, still 5-6 years younger than Duncan Robinson right now, if he develops well in the G League, Duncan has injury problems, or the Heat just don't want to carry that roster spot, could they give Josh Christopher a standard deal next year and cut Duncan Robinson, save that $10 million, give 2 or 3 of it to Josh Christopher? I think that's something that could actually be in play. But let me know, and it's prediction time down in the comments section. Will this be Duncan Robinson's last year in Miami? He's technically under contract for one more season, but they do have that out to save them $10 million. Let me know. Type Y for yes or type N for no. I do think another move could be coming, though, for the Miami Heat in the coming weeks or months, if you will, and that is in the form of Isaiah Stevens. We have talked so much about the need to get this man on a two-way contract. He was just so good for the Heat Summer League team as well, averaging 9 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, shooting a ridiculous clip from the field and the three-point mark. And obviously, he's not someone who's a score-first guard, and that's kind of what I like about him. He looks to get other people involved first, and to me, with how well he was in terms of his IQ, his defensive presence, and his facilitating and decision-making, he absolutely needs to be one of the Heat's two-way players. He just does. We know Christopher is going to be one. We know Kashad Johnson's going to be one. They need to get rid of Dru Smith. I can't take it any longer. I said this right away when Josh Christopher got the two-way yesterday, and I said, wow, he got it over Zyon Pullin. And my guy, Anthony DiNardo, shout out to him. If you don't check out his content, please do so because he does an excellent job. Replied to my tweet and says, sounds like Dru Smith gets paid as long as he has a two-way. Since Stevens is on Exhibit 10, they have him through training camp guaranteed, and then they can cut Dru Smith. So waiting basically does Dru a solid by allowing him to get some extra bread. And I completely agree. And after Anthony said that, kind of thought to myself, well, I guess allows Dru Smith to get paid throughout this summer, and then when the training camp portion rolls around in October, then maybe Isaiah Stevens gets signed to a two-way and Dru Smith is off this team, unless Dru Smith is just like otherworldly in training camp or preseason, which I find hard to believe. And it's kind of how I feel about this, man. Like, there's just no justification to me for keeping Dru Smith over Isaiah Stevens. Dru Smith has been in the league for 3 years now. Isaiah Stevens, sure, he's an older UDFA coming out of Colorado State, but he is a rookie. Like, Dru Smith has been in the league for 3 years. If you're going to hold someone on a two-way contract, why not keep someone who's younger and has a better chance of being something in 2 or 3 years? Because we know what Dru Smith is. We don't know what Isaiah Stevens is. Like, there is a chance that he becomes like a Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, smaller guard, similar profile, good facilitator, shooter, average to below average defender. Like, that is a realistic possibility. Sure, is it probably a ceiling? Yes, but at least you have a chance to hit that ceiling. We already kind of know what Dru Smith is. All right, make sure you are subscribed because if there are moves being made around the Miami Heat or big-time rumors, we're going to talk about them here on the channel. I'm Nic Rohloff. We talk Heat basketball every single day, so make sure you're subscribed. And like I said, we're every day, so I'll see you tomorrow with another video.